Hi.
Hey.
Are you there? Like you just left and you came back in. You kind of flashed off and on. Are you monkeying around with your computer?
No, but I might be phasing in and out of reality as AI takes over, or quantum computing.
Yeah. So my dad thinks that Sasquatches are real, but they phase in and out of our universe, or they exist in a parallel dimension. Okay. Sometimes they phase in or out. So
difficult to prove that they don't, right? So
yeah, let me just preface that by saying that he was a hippie, and he probably had his share of controlled substances that might have altered his opinion on such thing. Anyways, December 12th, 2024. I think are we doing a deribit live next week? If so, that would be the last one. So this could be the last or the second to last one.
Okay.
I think we're going to take a couple of weeks off, to do something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Family-ish.
Count our ill-gotten gains.
Yes.
Have a few beers over the ones we missed.
Yeah, speaking of ill-gotten gains, if I have the cash, there's a new Bugatti for sale. It's about $5 million. Man, is it beautiful! But it's a work of art. It's like something you keep in your family for 100 years. Like it's based like I can't remember the name in Italian, but they have like in the steering wheel you can see through, like they've got crystal and you see the mechanisms all work. It's like it's the most incredible thing ever. Anyways.
You're so sad. I bet you watch OnlyFans, don't you?
No, I don't.
Such a simp.
But I'd like to.
Anyway, what are we talking about this week?
So I'll get to that. Shouldn't be rushing me. There's a process here.
Okay.
So December 12th, we went for a meeting. You and I and some others. Maybe a couple months back, we went to the casino. You remember?
Oh yeah.
And I might have told you this, but one of my dreams, and it still is, but growing up, was to be like a Vegas lounge singer. I love Sinatra, and I just love those Turner tunes. And today, of course, was Sinatra's birthday. So, fly me to the moon. Speaking of flying to the moon, Bitcoin, it's just remaining poised. It's remaining poised.
Yeah. It's crouching for the pounce, isn't it? At 125.
Yeah, crouching tiger, hidden
value.
Yeah, something like that. So Volodimir's with us. Yep.
And all the alts have popped up today, haven't they, as well?
Pure Paulo. Did I say that right? Pure Paulo? I don't know how to say that name, but anyways, good to see you.
Yeah, Paulo, yeah.
Yeah.
We've done okay in the alts world, haven't we? With a bit of nice bit of vol on that.
Yeah. There's been some really good trading in a lot of the alt coins. First things first, before we get so today's subject is: will quantum computing kill Bitcoin? Short answer, I don't know. So episode's over. Here, I'll just shut this thing down.
I know.
Well, let's get to that later. Let's just let people think about it.
Okay.
Not that they're probably like, Shane, we're not going to think about it, but let's just do a summary first. Let's do a summary of what's going on, because this is actually relevant and interesting. And as much as I like to joke around, this actually is kind of important. So let me share my screen here. Window. Should be this, I think. We have the ECB today. I think they're expecting to do a rate cut today, ECB. Not that it will necessarily affect Bitcoin much, but for people trading currencies and whatnot, that is...
Is the ECB? Isn't there also a US print today as well? Some kind of
no. That's the big news next week. So we got the ECB, we got some core PPI. I wouldn't expect too much from that from the US, but then next week.
Yeah, but core PPI is quite an important indicator for where the Fed thinks inflation is going, right?
Well, but I think that the CPI yesterday overshadowed it. But I could be wrong. I mean, what the hell do I know, right? Next week is the big one. Everybody's waiting on, right? Everybody's waiting on the.
FOMC.
The FOMC. So that's on the 18th, Wednesday the 18th, and I think a lot of people are.
That's interesting. That's probably why vols are staying elevated, and they probably will then for the next week.
Yeah, they have been staying very elevated. Something interesting I noticed. So I just happened to look at the liquidation heat map. A couple times a week I'll look at it, and it's what we'd expect, but I found it interesting when we go out 1 week thinking about the FOMC. There's nobody below.
Yeah,
nobody.
Well, everyone got wiped out, didn't they? In that dipped down to 92, whatever it was.
Yes, and speaking of and just nothing but net in terms of inflow, nothing but net. Speaking of inflows, remember last week
But BlackRock didn't have any inflows yesterday.
Sure it did. Well, these numbers haven't updated yet. This is
but on the 11th, BlackRock is 0.
Yeah, but sometimes we see that and we don't believe it.
Huh. Okay.
So over to the Bitcoin. This was Thursday. Remember, we were like, our topic, could it crash? Clickbait. And what does it do? Powers up. But in our defense, that afternoon after Deribit Live, kabam! Down to 92 and scared the pants off people. And that's the liquidation event that you're talking about. So
this was all planned, of course. We had buyers in at 91.5.
I got lucky, and on one or two of the discretionary accounts, I did pick up some, I think maybe at 93, 94 and a half, something like that. Yeah, not a lot, but I was still proud of myself.
I think it's always worth having a buy order, a cheeky buy order in like 8% down. Because if it wicks down, it never stays there. It always bounces, so you've always got a chance to get out.
Most of the time, it
does. Pretty much always, because it's just the way that the markets are structured. They always bounce once and then kill everybody. And because everyone's shell shocked by the wick.
I see what you're saying. I was going to argue here that there was no bounce for a long time.
Yeah, but it was how long was it? Yeah.
That was ages.
But over some time frame, there's always a bounce.
Yes. Thank you for clarification. Your account might be wiped out, but hey, you'll get the bounce. But I was looking at the S&P.
Over 6K. This is looking toppy. Because S&P's high on its highs, with most of the S&P selling off, and volumes at their lowest ever.
Yeah, so someone could argue. People have been talking about shorting the S&P for ages, but when do you do it, right? And the answer is to layer in. So you're not just all in at any one date, and if it doesn't go, it's like you layer in, you do it as spreads, whatever you need to do. You could also go along the VIX because when the market tanks, the VIX is going to go up. But something interesting. So I was looking at Apple. Look at this chart, 1 hour chart. Look at this: Apple, Google, Netflix. Now, NVIDIA is the interesting one because you have your theory about NVIDIA going down. So that's the odd one out. Then look at Tesla. Holy crap. MicroStrategy. Well, MicroStrategy, that's a bit different. I thought that was interesting.
Tesla has a price-earnings ratio of 111. You're going to have to wait 111 years to get your money back.
Oil's up a bit. Gold's up a bit. That should make you happy because I know you're a bit of a gold bug. Anyways, this isn't the trade the market shows.
Our viewers need to know the Chinese central bank has resumed its buying program.
Okay. Yeah.
While the US is talking all this idiocy about selling all its remaining gold and buying a Bitcoin reserve instead, the Asians are rubbing their hands and going, "Excellent, we'll just have all the money, thanks, and buy it all cheap."
Yeah, and I saw that Russian news that the State Duma was proposing a crypto, some type of a fund there as well. Yeah, I don't know what kind of boneheaded moves. We've seen governments do that before, dump all their gold at lows and then have it.
And that's always ended well, isn't it? That really ended really well for Britain when it sold all its gold at the lows, and Canada and various other degenerate Western nations.
Incompetent leadership, completely incompetent leadership.
Yeah.
For those who are new, we regularly slam other people and talk nonsense. And
you say it's incompetence. I actually think it's deliberate malice.
No. I think on the part of Trudeau, it's complete. He has no qualifications whatsoever to do anything.
No, but I actually think these people are guided by people who have malicious intent towards the West.
Well, there's maybe some of that blended in. I don't know. Just for those new to the show, if there's anyone new, we chat for 30 minutes. We have a Q&A at the end, so if you've got questions, please put them into the Q&A section. What else do I want to say? Oh, check out on the chat, too, if you want to save 10% on Deribit fees. If you haven't already have an account, you can use that link. All right. This chart, we're talking about flying to the moon and Sinatra and everything else, but, let's face it, it's in this zone. this resistance zone, and it's holding up here real well. All it needs is some little catalyst, and boom, we're going to be busting new highs yet again. So the play right now for the trader's trader is to short here, long here, short here, long here. Keep playing this range until the range busts, which it's going to do one way or the other eventually. Not much else I can say about it, but I'm not selling heavily. When it goes up here, I'm not selling heavily, and I'll most certainly do it as a spread. And if you're new, do it as a spread, please.
I'm thinking positive thoughts for a $800 a day rise until Christmas for my book.
800-day value rise. So you're not talking about your theta, or you're talking about the price of Bitcoin?
My systematic books will do their absolute best if it rises $800 per day for the next 15 days.
That's your Christmas wish.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Well, good luck with that. I don't think we're going to get that exactly, but you never know. I mean, stranger things have happened.
Yeah.
All right. So let's move on to our topic of
is quantum
AI going to kill us? Do androids dream of electric sheep? What was it?
Is quantum computing going to be the end of Bitcoin?
Yes, quantum computing. Yes.
So this is kind of prompted by the news that is it Google's Willow chip can now do a computation that would take a regular computer 10 to the 25 years, and it can do it in 5 seconds or something like that, right? It can do it 10 to the 25 times faster. And then that begs the question: well, how much brute force do you need to crack the crypto keys to either get into people's wallets, which is just brute force cracking of the ECDSA one-way encryption, public key encryption from the public keys, or actually rewrite the blockchain using by back computing the hashes that you'd need to actually just go and insert your own data in the blockchain without changing the blockchain. And that's actually quite a hard problem. But they reckon that cracking the ECDSA algo would take 10 to the 100 years for it might be years, might be seconds, doesn't really matter at that scale, for a regular supercomputer, and it's 10 to the 25 times faster for a quantum computer with 106 errorless qubits. And that means that it's only going to take 10 to the 75 years, which is almost more years than there are particles in the universe. So at the moment, no. However, let's not forget Moore's law. So Moore's law has predicted accurately since the, I think, late 60s that computing power doubles every 4 years.
I don't know.
Something like this. And if that's the case,
I'll have to Google it.
Then actually, if you produced a computer, so at the moment this Willow computer has 106 errorless qubits, but if you build a computer with 1 million errorless qubits
every 2 years.
Every 2 years, there we go. Okay, which is quick, right? Then 1 million errorless qubits, would actually crack ECDSA encryption, and that means that everyone's wallet wide open and available to whoever has one of these computers. It also means that all internet encryption is useless, which means your SSL, HTTPS, your passwords when you're logging into your bank, and literally everything ends, and we have to go back to, either have to figure out some quantum proof encryption, or we have to go back to pen and ink and trusting your bank manager, and he trusts you. And my conjecture is that yes, I think in my lifetime, if Moore's law holds, absolutely, quantum computing ends all cryptocurrency. And that's not the reason I think Bitcoin's going to zero in my lifetime, but that's just another icing on the cake for me.
So short Bitcoin and go long cash.
Well, that's the problem, because so we don't know when this is going to happen, and even if it does, if a computer like that does get invented, you'd keep it quiet, wouldn't you? Because you'd want to empty all the wallets first, right? And then and then announce the amazing discovery.
Right. Oh yeah. By the way, we just discovered this.
Oh. And then the first wallets you'd hack are the original ones, of course, because the money hasn't moved yet, and Satoshi's wallet you go for, right? And then you'd spend it carefully, and you'd buy something else with it, and what you'd buy would have to be quantum proof. So, property, cars.
Yeah, this is
women,
just
gold.
new age fencing, money laundering, really.
Right.
All it is.
And then you have to obviously not get caught. That's a whole other issue.
So, this begs the question too. That at what. So I read an interesting article, or maybe I saw a video. I can't remember. Maybe it was a combination regarding the U.S. Some of the ports in the U.S., the longshoremen, are. The U.S. ports are already the most archaic and inefficient in the world because of the least automated. If you go to Asia, the Middle East, the ports are very automated. And, of course, these union leaders are saying no automation, and they're out there with their pickets, no automation. Well, that's ridiculous because, every job in the past has been replaced by automation to some degree. That's why we don't have barrel makers anymore, or, things evolve and change. And, the media portrays this as, we're going to lose 1 million jobs, but they're not saying, well, hang on, there'll be new jobs created from this as well. They take a very myopic view, and I guess that's their job, and that's why nobody trusts them anymore. But, we can look at Uber in backwards leftist cities that just, refuse to let Uber in because the taxi drivers go on strike. Well, hang on, that's suppressing progress.
You say that, but I was in London recently, and I mentioned to my colleague that I was going to hail a cab, a Hanson carriage, as they're properly called in London. And he looked at me as if I was mad and said, "Are you just going to get an Uber?" And I was outraged. Part of the charm of going to London is having a talkative cabbie who knows where he's going.
Yeah, and we're old guys, so that makes sense for us. And I'm not saying the solution is Uber, but that's just an iteration of things going forward. And maybe there's a blend, maybe there's a way to work that together.
Well, actually, continuing on your theme, so the same threat to Bitcoin from quantum computing, and at the moment it seems like a remote threat, is actually a threat to civilization if we go fully automated. Because actually, if you have a quantum computer able to crack encryption at will, then all of those Chinese ports stop working overnight because somebody gets in and stops them working. And the longshoremen who are running the US ports actually carry on working. And so actually, there's an allegory here in the remember the old movie from in the 70s or 80s, Battlestar Galactica, and the TV series more recently, where the Cylons had infiltrated. Well, in the TV series particularly, the Cylons had won by infiltrating the information networks that held the Starfleet command together. And Captain Adama refused point blank to use anything other than a telephone with a wire, right? Even though it's far in the future.
Yeah, it's like using fax machines to transmit information.
Right. Or tapping on a telegraph. But if we get to the point where quantum computers, and certainly mass-produced quantum computers, are able to reverse engineer encryption, then actually we have to go back there.
Yeah, but of course we have the view that this happens and everything falls apart, but there will be countermeasures probably in place or coming in behind. So it's always an evolution. So, but the one thing that made me think of this, I was watching this about the longshoremen and stuff. I've always longed for the days. I used to love the open trading pits, in Chicago and New York, and for trading. I'd love to go back instead of having your firm have their servers co-located next to the NASDAQ or the CBOE. It's like, come on. And then only the big guys can do it. Like, you know what I mean? I love that old nostalgia, but then again, we're kind of old. So we long for the old days.
I think there's huge value in it taking a day to trade anything. Stock or Bitcoin or anything, because you think about your trade then rather than knee-jerk fear trading, which all that does is make the exchanges money, right? And pushes you into the arms of the HFT market makers. I like this idea of a slow cadence and a phone call, and can you price this up for me, and I'll get back to you. And
that's
do
right.
you really want to do it? Yeah, no, I feel good about it. I'll do it.
Things move too fast for that nowadays. Can you imagine? Calling up, you're on the golf course or something.
I used to do that.
Yeah, but it's just too slow now. Like there's some opportunities today I jumped on. We made a bunch of money in some altcoins. If I wasn't sitting here watching it and I couldn't execute now, we couldn't have taken advantage.
Yeah.
So, Anyways, yeah, interesting stuff. I think it's very interesting stuff. Well, what we should do is let's have Elon join us next week. Maybe we can further discuss the AI.
See what he's going to do with his quantum AI.
Yeah,
I actually think that once we get to the point of quantum computing, we'll have other much more interesting concerns to worry about than whether our Bitcoin's going up or down. Right?
Yeah, it's so hard to project into the future because we take our current circumstance and we envelope this new thing on it, but our current circumstance is never going to be. It's going to be so different at that point, and other things will have evolved too.
I think you can have a. I mean, I think science fiction is a very good precursor to reality. And I would recommend everyone here reads the Culture by Ian M. Banks. He's now died, but an excellent author, and he wrote about humanity in 10,000 years' time, in the future, where whole worlds were controlled by quantum entangled or dimension folded minds that were these sort of mega AIs. And and people lived for 1,000 years because they'd figured out how to gene edit everyone, and people felt good all the time because they'd actually genetically engineered in glands to produce endorphins if you want them, And and I actually think that if we don't get destroyed by a meteorite and plunge into another ice age, and we don't nuke ourselves, and we don't turn back into jihadists and erase all culture, that's where we'll end up. I think.
I prefer the Fallout sort of thing. It'd be an exciting adventure. Actually, speaking of, I haven't thought about Battlestar Galactica in years. So for those younger people, it was a science fiction show back in the, I guess, early 80s maybe.
Well, the film was the 80s, and then there was the
series.
The series was in 2000 or something.
That was good.
It was a good series.
Apollo was one guy or something. Anyways, they had these robots called Cylons, right? And they're all silver, and they'd always be attacking and stuff. Then once the Simpsons did an episode of the Simpsons, where it's like they had some I can't remember if it was a show or something, and the announcer was that guy Phil Hartman, Troy McClure. He's like, and here we've got the regular robots from Battlestar Galactica beating up the gay robots from Star Wars. And C-3PO's like, oh, stop. And beating him on the head. Anyways, all right, we've really deviated off topic, but it is the Christmas holidays edition. So we're
just to finish that thought. So then you should watch the most recent Battlestar Galactica series, because if you like the old one, which was proper cowboys in space, the new one is hot babes on the Battlestar Galactica spaceship.
Right, I'll check it out.
And the Cylons are also hot babes.
Oh,
so you've got hot babes fighting hot babes in space.
So I didn't even know that this was a thing anymore. Like they redid it. Like I didn't like it that much. Yeah. I liked it because they're flying ships and shooting laser guns, and as a kid, that's cool, right? So
yeah.
All right. Yeah. So we've gone pretty far, and we've got some comments here. So Bronco. He's being serious. He or she, I don't know. To ascertain the risk to an individual, consider the cost of such quantum hardware plus energy requirement. That's true. And you're talking about the Willow.
But
I don't have no idea.
Yeah, but that's no problem, because all you got to do is hold Bitcoin or MicroStrategy, and then you'll have so much money you can run any amount of AI or quantum computing you want.
Yeah. And many nuclear reactors are coming along soon too.
Who is it? Is it Microsoft or the Chinese? I forget now. They're producing basically drop-in safe nuclear reactors. But
they're all even Facebook's talking about it. I think Amazon for their servers, everything. Yeah. JK, yes, very good. AI will manage your trades, and you will be happy. Exactly.
I like it. The trading communism. You're all going to get 10 Satoshis each.
That's right. There you go. All right. Vladimir, to be honest, I think it's more dangerous that everyone will be able to create images and videos that might mislead people and manipulate them, rather than everyone's crypto wallets. Talking about deep fakes.
Images that mislead and incite people have been happening ever since there's been newsprint. I wouldn't worry about it. Everything you read in the press ever in history has been lies, right? and it's just there to sell you papers, and some of it's propaganda to make you support the government of the day. And AI produced images are going to be no different. There's going to be you can manufacture outrage with a headline in the Daily Mail or Pravda or whatever, and you can manufacture outrage with AI on Twitter. Right? It's all the same.
All right.
People love to be outraged.
They do love to be outraged. Well, I don't.
No, but we are more serene.
I like to joke about it.
Yeah, we don't take life too seriously, and I mean we keep our eyes on the horizon, and we make sure our armories are well stocked. But
yeah, and hey, ski season started here in Andorra on the weekend, so I think now we've got more things to focus on, like doing some ski touring, skiing with the kids, having a nice winter. Holidays are upon us. So what do you think is going to happen over the holidays in terms of cryptocurrency? Do you think it's going to be some big moves, or going to calm down more like TradFi markets?
I think the narrative is all about the election, the inauguration.
Inauguration, yeah.
And I've been thinking about what you've been saying to me the past week, that there will certainly be another attempt on Trump's life. And so we're going to have, there's got to be some risk premium for that, right? Which logically should mean that put premium should get more expensive after Christmas, or even after next week, after the CPI prints or the Fed's nonsense. So logically, you should expect some more downside risk premium. But if people are still feeling happy and good about there being an unlimited M2 supply and everything, numbers all go up, then maybe they'll forget, and then maybe that's the event that catches everyone out. I'll be certainly buying some puts after Christmas.
Yeah, and I've got plenty through to the end of December, and then I'll reload at the end of December.
Yeah, good question from Vladimir. How's the SynthMiner going?
I think we're near all-time highs in terms of the USD value. We're probably not at highs in terms of the Bitcoin, but
well, we should show it. Hang on.
Yeah, go ahead.
Retro traders. Deribit. Yeah, we're so much going into the holiday spirit that we're kind of getting blasé about remembering to check, aren't we?
Yeah.
Entire screen, share, right. Oh, I've got to log in.
Ah, dear. Here, well, turn it off, then log in, and just otherwise everybody's going to be stealing our crypto again.
Oh, yeah.
I say again, but I'm just joking. Actually, I was researching crypto wallets yesterday, some different types of wallets, and some that I thought were really great.
Wow.
Maybe aren't so great. So,
do you want to add 2FA? No, skip, go away. I think 2FA is a right nightmare.
This is where we need some of this Frank Sinatra.
They're a bit of alter the website. They're now sort of trying to encourage you into the idiocy of 2FA.
Yeah, and I noticed too the last few days I'm constantly logged out during the day.
Yeah,
I have to log in many times during the day. It's really quite annoying. I'm not sure why that's happening.
Where are we in terms of?
This is SynthMiner. Yes, it is.
SynthMiner. Here we go. 1032 in equity, which is 10,447, and in cash. Oh, I've got to look in the wallet, haven't I?
Yeah, if you just
1061.
Look at that.
Actually, we're probably almost flat actually in the book. Got a little bit of risk coming off tomorrow. A worthless put coming off tomorrow.
I'm just going to take a look here at
I think we left some orders in which never got filled.
Yeah, and we did a carry trade. Did we do it on this, or we did it on?
Yeah, we did. And I was going to say to you, we should check that because the rate of the funding rate is now up to almost 0.2 basis points per 8 hours.
Yeah.
Which means our perps are now more expensive than our. So we probably ought to reverse that carry trade out.
Sure. And just for reference, the Bitcoin, we started off with 0.0825, I think, back in March. And now we've got 0.1059. So that's...
Yeah, look, here's the carry trade. We're making we're making 0.0303, and then we're losing 0.0301.
Yeah, we should just close that off. But it was good for a while.
Yeah,
it's good for a while. We got in when the funding rate was hanging around zero, and put that on. So
yeah, we'll reverse that later.
Yeah.
All right.
What else you got going on here? Vladimir, might be happening.
Actually, yes. Sorry. So just to be clear about this, the cash value of this book is more than double than what we started with.
Yeah. Still. Vladimir's saying it might be because of an IP changed internet connection issue. Yeah, it could be. I just noticed that starting yesterday, the day before, it was happening a lot for some reason. So, anyways. All right, we're at the bottom of the hour. We've probably wasted everyone's valuable time, more than enough for this week. But if there's any final questions, anything you want to talk about, please put that in now before we take off. I think we're going to do one next week, or have we fully decided? We should, because next Wednesday is the FOMC, and it could be a big deal. But let's just say yes, we'll do it next week, and then we'll probably be.
I'll take a few weeks off. Yeah, we can then give our predictions over Christmas, and then go and ski and not care what happens.
Yeah, and maybe you'll get your Christmas present of an average 800 rise in Bitcoin daily.
That'd be epic. That would be that would make my book about $2 million.
Nice, excellent. Yeah. That's some heavy theta going on there.
I'm actually trading the smile. I'm actually trading the curvature of the vol surface. It's shocking to realize that there's about 10% premium in that curvature to pick up.
Yeah, and I think too, not only is your automated strategy showing that, but I think that the back testing you did put a lot of research in before you start implementing also showed that, even at times when it didn't seem like it, there's a lot of difference between the realized and
I think the vol surface on Bitcoin is like the ocean. The little waves look little from high up, but actually when you're in them, there's a lot of power there, right? And just a one vol move on a surface a month out, or a 1 vol differential between two strikes can mean a huge amount of value.
Excellent. All right, well, that's it. I have no more questions. We have no more questions today. Today wasn't really a topic for questions anyways. It was kind of more of a theoretical thing. But
I'm surprised I didn't outrage anybody. I was expecting a storm of outrage saying there's no way because the Bitcoin is quantum secure. My friends tell me so and all that. But I think everyone's a bit, oh, wait a minute, maybe he's right.
most people reserve their hateful comments for our YouTube videos. Where they say, you guys are stupid or that's wrong. Okay.
Brilliant.
You can tell we're greatly affected by it.
I should go and read some of those comments at some point.
Most of them I just delete if they want to hate on for it. If it's intelligent, want to debate, no problem, because I'm open to any opinion. But anyways, okay, that's it. Let's shut her down today before deribit comes along and kicks the plug out of the wall and makes us go away.
Cool. Thanks everyone for coming.
Thanks everyone. See you next week, and happy FOMC next Wednesday. Bye-bye.